I'm like, do you remember what you cooked? I mean,
Yeah,
it was amazing.
it was for Julian, and that's when we met for the first time, right at a Julian Assange, the Farce of July, and it was
Yes.
pretty awesome. Yeah.
And like I've said is I feel like no matter what, even outside of here, I consider, we have our politics where we're online, and then we have our, hey, just two guys who hit it off, and I think you're a good guy, and like, and these guys know. We talk
Yeah,
about a lot of non-politics stuff and just see each other as friends. So as you guys can see in the chat, and those who are tuning in, hopefully you guys can see, we have a very, very, very special guest with us tonight. Going to help us get into a lot of topics. Some of the topics which I've been wanting to talk about with, well, I talk about it all the time with a bunch of people, but I've been wanting to talk about it with somebody who I feel who has really been honed in and watching it, probably far more than me, I would say, because I've watched a lot of the Convo Couch's commentary and a couple of I guess creators, we'll say creators and journalists content, and I've been very, very impressed with what the Convo Couch has been doing over there. So without further ado, I want to welcome, for those who don't know him, which you should all know him, Craig Pasta Jardula, from the Convo Couch and MCSC Network. How are we doing tonight, brother?
Great, guys. Thank you so much for having me on. I really do appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to a fun conversation tonight. Even though it's kind of crazy that you got me with the UFC coming on, right? Like, I mean, we got Masvidal versus was it Kobe? We got the Puerto Rican Trump supporter or the white guy Trump supporter. Which one do you want? Place your bets now. So it's kind of funny.
Well, I don't know.
I thought you were a UFC guy, so and I see the flag.
I don't know if you see the hat. I kind of stuck with having to pick.
Gotcha. My friend, he let me pick the last fight, the championship fight, and I took Adesanya, so I let him pick the card tonight. So he picked Masvidal, so I have Kobe tonight in a $10 bet for the UFC main card fight tonight. So it's going to be interesting.
That's definitely going to be I guess a little fun fact. When it comes to any kind of combat sports, that's me as a whole. So it doesn't matter if it's UFC, mixed martial arts, if it's World Karate Federation, if it's boxing, I'm all in for it. So I mean, I love combat sports. I used to do martial arts myself, and I used to box also. So I love it all. As we like to do here, like to run it around the horn real quick. So, Chris, I'll start with you. How are we doing tonight, brother?
What's good, man? What's up, everybody? Marcus, E, Pasta, what's good? Same shit, just working a whole lot, putting a whole lot of hours this week. I actually changed my brakes earlier today, so I feel like I got something accomplished. That's about it.
Oh, that's about it.
What's up with you guys?
Yeah, just the same old. Busy week. Had a lot of shit going on work-wise, but that's a whole nother issue. E, how are we doing tonight, brother?
Let's see. The propaganda is kicked up full bore on social media. It's wild. It's like a step into a time machine. It's the Iraq War all over again. So
same players coming out too. Mitt Romney, Lindsey Graham, Dick Cheney. All of a sudden, here come the warmongers.
That one was unsurprising.
Well, yeah, I mean,
John McCain whispering from wherever he's at. You know that.
Yeah. Yep. You can hear him from up there. Go, if he is up there, maybe he's down there, but he's going.
I think he's probably down there.
All right.
You guys saw that video that Lindsey Graham and him, right?
I heard about it. I haven't saw it yet. But yeah, and I'll definitely sit there and bring that up. And I want to say, a shout out to everybody in the chat. I see Uncle Warren out there. I see Atres out there.
Thank you, Uncle Warren and Steve
Cutler. And I want to throw a shout out to all those out there. Anthony, of course, Signs. Say what's up to Kelly. Words of Will. And anybody else who's hopped in who just hasn't decided to hop into the chat yet, or in those who will come in later. We're going to have a fun discussion. We'll try to add you guys all in there as we can. As you guys can see from tonight, we have we're going to talk about obviously the Russia-Ukraine stuff and get more and more into that. We got to talk about the State of the Union. Hey, ICU.
I see you.
We got to talk about that State of the Union. There's so many different things within that to go into, and then there's some stuff that Chris would like to for us to talk about. A lot of interesting politics down in Florida.
What's up?
And I know this will be fun for all of us because I know my man Pasta. He's from Florida. Out here living on the West Coast with me. I lived in North Florida, and Chris lives in South Florida. So yeah, and then we got E, who's in Atlanta, not too far away. So I mean, it's going to be interesting, to get into all of that. Uma, I see you out there. So I guess let me go ahead and pull up the intro music. I noticed, Chris, you messed up last week. You didn't play it.
I called you out.
Call you out, yes. All right, let me get it on the screen. And let's go.
You were here because you have a question that you need an answer to. Thanks for joining me.
Modern about Trump. I mean, you get caught happy.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's cool, man. They also want to see it.
Hello, and welcome. I see Lucky Burrito in there in the chat also.
Hi,
Steve
Lucky
Cutler.
Burrito.
Hello. So glad to have you here. So let's go on ahead and let's start right in. I'm trying to figure out which way to go because we can easily talk about the State of the Union or we can talk about the Russia-Ukraine stuff because they both are kind of intermingled since Biden did talk about, that. And so I guess, you know what, we will go in and have a little bit of a breakdown on, I want to hear Pasta. I want to hear like your take on it because I've been watching a lot of your coverage on it. I think it's been, very, very insightful and it's hit a couple of different areas, which I don't think a lot of people have even really weighed into, especially that part when you brought up about the Azov and some of their religious, affiliations. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, well, I mean, when we're talking about the Ukraine-Russia situation, I think people have to understand right off the bat that this is more than just geopolitics and war. This directly affects the political matrix. And what I want everybody to do that's watching on YouTube right now, I want you to hit that like button. I want you to hit that share button because this is more than geopolitics. This is the gateway open to more censorship, right? This is what we're talking about right now. What we witnessed this whole week should be eye-opening, right? Because we witnessed all this stuff. We've had conversations about this, Marcus, when we were together having a burger for Julian Assange on the farce of July. The censorship that's coming. Right. This is about to censor all the truth tellers. This is to slow down conversations you guys have on this show right now.
Yep.
Exactly.
When I hear y'all talking about Chris had to move his brakes around, got to work and whatnot, it's a shame because what's happening right now is the faucet is turned really, really tight. Now they got us, a couple years after we started. Thank God we had the momentum to get going. But when YouTube demonetized us 13 months ago, what they attempted to do was kneecap us to stop us from having these conversations and having our shows. And that's what they're doing right now. And everybody should pay close attention with RT America closing down and having to shut down because now you've seen my mom call me the other day. I got her onto RT on DirecTV, channel 321.
I saw that. That was crazy. Yeah.
Right? It's nuts because we're at a time that's unprecedented when it comes to censorship and the First Amendment and freedom of the press. And that's why, I tend to kind of, get together and kind of form bonds and unities with people like yourselves who understand the nuance, but also the liabilities that comes with jailing and silencing a person like Julian Assange. because it affects everybody. And today, last week, believe you me, because they know who you are. They watch. They got people that's going out there. They don't want you guys having the conversations that you're having on this show. So it affects the political matrix today from what we witnessed, because during the boop boop, or whatever you want to call it that time, for 2 years, that now we've just seamlessly transitioned from the boop boop to war. Just like that, it was over and stuff like that. All the censorship that came with it, now they're piling on top of it again, because now they have the green light. Like, nobody said shit when they were taking down shows left and right.
Joe Rogan, the
like
rest
this
of them
will not be able to grow. So that's what I want to talk about with this whole situation. It's more than just geopolitics, war, something we've been covering for 4 years now. We've been talking about the coup in 2014, the aiding of the Azov battalions and what's going on, the shelling of the people of the Donbass. All the Democrats and Republicans carpetbagging, making money, like Adam Schiff, Mitt Romney's people, John Kerry's stepson's best friend, Joe Biden's son on the Burisma board, Nancy Pelosi, Paul Pelosi, all that stuff we've been talking about. The bigger picture is what's happening to us, what's happening to you guys, and we need to fight back. So all those people out there that we love so much, the Warrens, the Lucky Burritos, the ICUs, everybody's over there. Please hit the like button. Please hit the share button. Let's amplify the words of the political matrix today. And that's what I wanted to come on and say more than anything to start off the show.
Oh, thank you. I mean, that's so kind. I mean, I try, and that's what we try to do over here. We try to bring everybody back to the fact of, within all of these issues, there's a lot of nuance and there's a lot of moving parts, and we can't just focus on, well, it's just Russia, Ukraine. Though that is one aspect of it, we have geopolitics going on, we have censorship that's going on, we have certain narratives trying to be changed, we have people who are trying to make money on these angles, and there's so many different moving parts that it's easy to not be able to see and catch all these things. Chris, I was wondering, what's some of your thoughts on what I said and what Pasta said?
Pasta, that was well said. I mean,
thank you.
Just like we saw with the prior big event we are seemingly moving on from, along with a virus came with the censorship, right? People started getting booted for sharing information related to that went against the narrative. They were framing a narrative.
And sorry to interrupt you real quick, but I want to say, the boop boop, how it's broken everybody's brain, and it's been on clear display. But sorry, go ahead, Chris.
No, yeah, so it's now that we're on to the next event and we can see it now. They're taking people offline and, burying people for what? Again, for going against the narrative. If I don't know how many more people are going to be left or where they're going to go, because even the places like Rockfin, how much can they withstand, right? How long before it gets to a point where even they have to start facing some pressure and answering some questions?
Odyssey, they were asked to, they were asked to pull the same censorship not too long ago. They did a public reaction, but who knows how long that'll stick out. So,
yeah, I mean, it blew my mind. I wanted to throw this in real quick because, we've seen what's went on with Mint Press. We've seen what's went on with RT. And it's not only been on RT, it's been even their shows on like Spotify, have been yanked down. If you're even affiliated, I mean, I've seen some people on RT and all they cover is like politics and, the global South. They don't even touch Europe, and they're being yanked down also in this censorship. And then I feel like it should be, I know some people don't agree with, say, The Hill or the people on that staff there, but The Hill right now, they just got, censored and got video yanked down, got a strike, and couldn't post for a week for just showing a speech, not even commenting on it really.
I think they only had 2 days of suspension. They got it back because they were able to protest the strike and get it back. But once again, too, Marcus, it's the two things that you can't talk about, right? You can't talk about elections. You can't talk about narratives of the boop boop, right? And anybody who thinks outside the box, they're going to find you. They're going to silence you. They're going to censor you. And they're going to make sure you don't speak, because that's the whole thing, is they don't want you to get to the bottom of the surface where the actual problems are coming from. They like the surface level fighting. They don't want you looking deep and down and like, where's this coming from? They don't even want you talking WEF or young global leaders and stuff. They don't want you thinking that way. And if you speak that language, they're coming from you. And the first thing they do is make sure that you don't get the finances, right?
Yeah.
They shadow ban you, they cut you down. What if it was a fair game like everywhere else, and you got into the algorithms as before? Because I've watched your show before. I've been on the show when we went to the Julian Assange thing. I listened to y'all speak. There's no doubt that you're getting shadow banned. There's no doubt.
Thank you.
There's no doubt.
Oh,
I mean,
thank
you just know. And that's the thing. They changed all the algorithms, because after a Convo Couch video, they would say, if you like Convo Couch, you might like the Political Matrix, and then you come on in. We were able to get that for 6 months after a Jimmy Dore video or a Graham Elwood video or Redacted. We were in the recommended queue. But they changed that quickly when they saw shows like ours grow. And they're going to make sure that shows like yours are not going to be able to get that same benefit. Therefore, Chris got to go to work. Marcus got to go to work. E got to work, right?
Yeah.
Instead of,
right.
and say if you made a little scuttle, maybe you ain't got to work as hard. You spend more time on this. Then you build that momentum. They're not going to let Truth Tellers just run wild. They ain't going to let it happen.
That's the reason why. This is one reason why it's going to be harder for them to go against us. Myself and Chris, we've always kind of had it. Well, and Emmanuel too. We've kind of had it in our head that we kind of do this because we just want to tell the information. And if it turns, where it turns a profit or money, okay, we're not going to turn it down. If I get a little bit to help to pay for some of these, different feeds and stuff I have set up to broadcast, because for those who don't know, I do have to pay, to go out to all these different outlets and all these things like that. So money does come out of my pocket.
Yeah.
But if I was able to have a little bit to cover some of that, yeah, I wouldn't turn it down. But we put it in our head to not even think about that so that we can keep going and pushing against it. I'll tell you something that we have seen multiple times, and I have screenshots of it. We'll go in, a video has 135 views next day, come back, 53 views. We've literally seen them cut our view counts in half.
They're doing that through all social media. They're just pulling retweets, pulling likes just out of the air like it never happened.
Can I say something, Marcus?
Sure.
Two things. Chris, Marcus, swear to God, same thing, just like you. That's the reason why we started the Convo Couch. It wasn't about becoming YouTube celebrities or building a network or having a successful show. It was like we felt like we had a personal responsibility to go out there and tell the truth where the mainstream media had left off, and we realized that we're nothing but propaganda. The second part I'd like to say is I can tell you this, and I can tell your audience this from having conversations with Marcus on eating that delicious burger that I made him. The same thing I felt for you.
You got to tell me what's in that burger, by the way, one day.
What's that?
You got to tell me what's in the burger one day.
I'm going to make you my burger with the garlic aioli, the tomato jam, and everything with the caramelized onion. But let me say this much. When I spoke to Marcus, I got the same vibe. We're doing this because it's a personal responsibility. We got to go out there and tell the truth. We got to go out there and bring a different perspective that's not being talked about. We got to speak freely and encourage people to do so. This is about being just a human being caught in this kind of predator class, freaking fourth industrial revolution BS that we're fighting. And excuse me, I'm watching what we have to say because, on YouTube, you got to watch what you say. And it's kind of like they play these mental games with you where they make sure you watch what you say because they don't want you, they can find a reason to give you a strike, take you down. So it's crazy. And then you're caught in this quagmire of, do I say this or do I hold back? Do I self-censor because I want to grow? So it's a psychological op they're playing on us too. But that's what I could say about you, Marcus, from meeting you, is that's why I've always liked you, is I had a feeling you're doing this because it's a responsibility to get the truth out and have these conversations that aren't being had.
Exactly.
Yeah, I figure I'll go on ahead and address something because people are asking about it. So going ahead. People in the audience is asking, where is L? Well, there is a little bit of creative differences that we're having. So L is no longer a part of the show. I'm sorry for those out there who going to have an issue with this. This isn't how I wanted things to go, but things just weren't working out between myself in particular and her, and it's just better that we both went our separate ways. So I feel like it's just best to just face things head on, not try to duck around the bush. You guys know that I'm pretty straight and direct about most things. I'm not going to go into detail about any of it because I feel it's personal. What goes on between co-hosts and things like that. So, I don't want anybody to think negative of her in any kind of way. Hopefully you guys don't think negative of me in any kind of way. And, I still will wish her the best in what she ventures out to do. Can
I say something before you
Go
continue
ahead.
I'm sorry Elle had to go. I saw her potential. I see her getting airtime and all of these other shows. I believe in her potential, and I wish her all the best.
And yes, don't if you guys want to get upset at anybody, send the hate mail my way. I'm a big boy, I can take it. So another thing that I wanted to say and bring up, a lot of people, and this is something I want to bring up for the whole, I guess, left or independent community as a whole. And not that WEF, World Economic Forum, is not a big power player, but there's some people, like I can show some people research even higher than that. And I'm working on, there's an old video that I did maybe about a year and a half ago now, where I'm working on re-editing it. I'm already warning everybody, sound quality is crappy. I was just first starting out, so you hear the loud fan in the background, but a lot of the information in there is very, very pertinent and vital. And I figure I kind of want to, I know it's a little bit off topic, and we're going to go right back to the, actually, I'll bring it up a little bit later. Just remind me to bring that up. But I want to show a clip from just a little bit of that intro to that video so you guys will know where to find it. And then I'm going to be re-releasing a clip of one of me, Chris, and Emmanuel's earlier episodes. The episode is called Red Pill, Blue Pill, Blue Pill, Clear Pill. And so this gets into explaining more of the picture, because part of what the elites want you to do is, though we do know Klaus in the World Economic Forum and Davos are full of a lot of the worst actors in the world, they want the focused on them, so you're not paying attention on the other parts of the moving hand. And so I want you guys to always keep that part in mind. So we're going to go into that a little bit later on, and then make sure to watch out for those videos I'm still working on. Because I notice a lot of times people love the live streams, but they don't catch the uploads. And sometimes these uploads have some very important info in it. You
got the chart that shows like the WEF on the third level. They're like the nation states are down on the fourth and the fifth level. So I love y'all ahead of the game and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
we're one step behind, right?
I'll give just one, for instance. The Bank of East Asia is mostly controlled by the Lee family. If you look at the Lee family goes all the way back to the Tang Dynasty. That's how long that they've been moving within these circles. Another one I would throw out, the Reynolds family, which, did you know that Marlboro, Newport, all of these people are tied in, are literally related to Reynolds Metals, which does Reynolds Wrap and all that.
Reynolds Wrap,
yeah, they're all related.
Yeah,
the nephew of the Marlboro man basically started all of this. So, Marlboro, Pall Mall, almost, I would say easily, 60% of the tobacco in America is all one family that's generated most of it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So once you start getting into those weeds like that,
what's the pill that put me back in, Marcus? I want to go back in.
Sometimes I want to go back in.
Put me in. I just want to have a fantasy football podcast and something the way I ain't got to know about this. I don't even want to know who Klaus Schwab is. Put me back in. Give me the pill.
I wish I didn't know about all this stuff sometimes. When I start
let's examine. Well, let's go there. Would you if you could unlearn, if you had a button or a pill that you could take or push and unlearn everything, and you go back, would you?
No,
Nah,
but I like to bitch about
nah.
it. So at
Yeah,
least
we like to
have some
pretend,
I like to
right?
say, I like
I
to
like to,
say it
cry
sometimes,
about it and
but
shit.
no.
You know,
That's why.
because it's like we have a responsibility, right? And somebody asked me this the other day, Chris. They said, literally, and this is somebody I'll be moving forward with, doing some work with, and they said, and their production, from a production standpoint of view, what's up, Jack? What up, Lucky?
What's up, Shot? Hey,
They
Jack.
said, how do you feel doing work that like you can get killed for at any time? Like, and I was like, well, any life worth living is a life that might depend on you dying or not when somebody's trying to kill you. I guess it's
Yeah,
you know
you'll
what I'm
have
saying, for the right
there's gonna be
reasons. I
risk.
guess I don't
Mhm.
know, but you know what I'm saying. It's like I don't know why I'm doing it. I don't want. I would stop. I had a person who was a friend of mine too as well. She's like, people like you, guys like you, and your friends end up dead.
Mhm.
You start
Yeah.
scratching the surface and you're getting too much attention and stuff. And that that's
maybe-
all of us, right?
Or,
Yeah.
That's
or
So,
maybe
I
we're
mean-
all,
Yeah.
and maybe we're all addicts, right? We're all addicted to the game some way, somehow, right? I don't know. Do you guys watch Snowfall?
Occasionally,
No, what is
Sometimes.
Snowfall?
you need to know about it.
Snowfall. It's a show on FX, right? That's
Mhm.
about it's loosely based on the Rick Ross story, and it
Freeway
shows
Rick Ross?
Yeah.
yeah.
Get
Mhm.
out of here. I didn't know there was a Freeway Rick Ross story.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's loosely based on him, but obviously once you see the CIA's involvement and everything else, fly and the mention of Nicaragua, Panama, Colombia, the rest of it, you already know. But anyway, with that being said, the CIA agent, he goes over and above, and he ends up getting kicked out of the agency, right? He's so addicted to what he was doing that even though he was out of the agency, he's still moving like an agent. He's not using any of the product, right? He's just addicted to the game. So sometimes I wonder um, if the reason why we wouldn't want to go back is because we're too addicted to it. Like it's like watching car accident after car accident after car accident. Sometimes it's like, when does this shit stop?
I wouldn't say that we're addicted. I think that we're people who believe the world would work a certain way. And when we realize a lot of things that we felt were not as they seemed, and some of the I always say it like this: if you came down with a terminal illness,
What's up, Al?
What's up,
You-
Al?
yeah, hell, if you had a terminal illness, you would want to know what it was to at least try to fight it, even if you only had like a 10% chance of surviving. You still want to know to try to fight it. And I feel like that's what we do. We try to fight this giant behemoth, even though the odds are not in our favor.
Correct. No, I mean, just throwing something in there, keep it a little light. Me personally, I wouldn't go back. You know what I'm saying? It's more fun on this side. You know what I'm saying? There's beauty in the struggle. You just got to find it. I always say
true.
that.
You know what I feel like though? Sometimes I feel like we're detectives and we're halfway through this case and we're digging and digging and digging. That's why, like, when Marcus was just talking about that stuff, talking about the families and he's looking ahead, right? You're looking down the road, like you could put pieces together. Like it feels like I think a lot of people out there are realizing now that it's not about nation states, that they're just following out orders and orders are coming from up above. But at what point do you put your tinfoil hat on? Do you take it off? And what do you listen to? What do you don't listen to? It seems like they're trying to clout the situation. But one of the reasons why I keep pushing forward too as well is that it's something that Cynthia McKinney has said on our show. We've had her on several times. One of my favorite people in this world. I mean, talk about last of the Mohicans, Cynthia McKinney going the distance, right? Just always getting thrown out of Congress for knocking on doors, saying she wants an independent commission on 9/11, looking into stuff. But when she told us, when she told us about COINTELPRO, and that was a time when the American intelligence apparatus didn't care about killing its own citizens. That upped the ante. That makes it even more scary. And I used to be anti-Second Amendment, as a hardcore leftist, Bernie Sanders. Now I'm like pro-Second Amendment, and now I want to get myself a peace, not to protect myself from other citizens, but to protect myself from the CIA. but it just raises the stakes, right? It says, look at this. You're living in a time where you got some form of a shadow government run by intelligence agencies that don't give a fudge about killing its own citizens. Well, that's a fight we're jumping in for. You know what I'm saying? And what we just saw play out in this last couple years, there's some holes now in that cheese. It's looking like Swiss cheese, and we got to go through it. We got to dig deeper. We got to find out more. We got to have these conversations. You know, I don't think we have our finger completely on what's going on. I think there's a lot of confusion going on. There's a lot of hocus pocus and distractions. But, you know, I think we're starting as a society, as Americans, as humans, we're starting to kind of weave that vessel through, and we're deeper down the hole than we've ever been before. But we can't stop and turn back. We got to keep going.
Yeah. Well, what it is us who are in these spaces where we're talking about this stuff already, we're the eyes. Eyes are the first thing that open up as far as the body. We just got to get the rest of the body to start waking up and stretching and get out of bed. But, you know, most of Americans are still at that I just want to roll back over and snooze phase. And I would say all the time, you got to just be able to process the information. Once you can process the information, then you can do something with it. But if we're all running to like, okay, well, why don't we go to the Green Party or the MPP, and that's going to be the next thing.
That whole mess.
We're funding a lot of energy into things which I would say honestly are kind of infiltrated anyway to keep us from getting up. You know, to keep us from moving up. And if we can, like, I try to tell people all the time, the problem I see with like a lot of, let's say, boutique left is they go with this whole mindset of, you got to be for this, you got to be for that, you got to be for this. And let's go through this 20 list of things. Then once we get the 20 list of things, now everybody who's on this 20 list of things, now let's fight with that instead of let's fight one issue by one issue. Yeah. That's the reason why what you guys were talking about with the trucker strike was so important and so valuable, because it's something that it wasn't, in my opinion, was not a partisan issue. There are people, and speaking from 3 black guys on here, many of us, we were not anti-vaxxers as a whole, but we did not support, you know, the mandates.
Yeah.
It was really hard. Oh, go ahead, Pastor.
No. E, please, you go first, and I'll go after you.
Okay. It was really hard to get people to question that divide between vaccinated and unvaccinated. And there were numerous people where I was saying, at some point, they're just going to drop it, and they're going to leave the censorship, and then you're going to be right back where you started with another problem that they throw up in your face, and they're going to bring in more censorship and more suppression. So what are you going to do then? And then that caused I had a problem with somebody just recently who was trying to drag me into a fight between unvaccinated and vaccinated. And I was like, I'm not doing that, because I know it's bigger than that. I know it's deeper than that. I know that they'll drop it. I know that they'll drop it as soon as it's of no use to them. No, maybe pick it up every now and again. But for the most part, they got what they wanted. They got the censorship. They got the suppression. So
yeah, they also got all the structure for the 4th Industrial Revolution in place.
Exactly, they built all of that,
vaccine passports and stuff. And E, that's why what Marcus and you just said too as well is why they're going to censor shows like this, because y'all don't play team sports. Y'all don't play team sports. And they're like, wait, these guys are independent thinkers. Let's not get like any momentum.
Line steppers. We're line steppers. We step out of line.
And they get you guys now. Like right now, like, because when you pull, like, say if they would have pulled Jimmy Dore off or do even Kim Iverson or, you know, the bigger shows, too much attention. But let's get these guys at that under 100,000 down level. Even the new guys, let's stop them in their tracks now, because they have all the weapons in place. And I think also too, just to digress back to what you were saying too, Marcus, too, as well, as we're the eyes. Part of this issue when we say give us that pill, put us back in, Chris, is the fact is that we turn around going, look what's going on. But we realize that a lot of the people are like the Walking Dead. They don't care about the truth. You could show it to them, but they're going to still be on course for their team sports, rah BS that's going on. And instead of looking about like, okay, you know, now the situation's over with the boop, right? They just transition seamlessly to war. Well, what is left in its wake, right? What is left? What do they have in its place? And even though you show people in black and white, we're dealing with the Walking Dead sometimes. I mean, it's amazing some of the crap we're talking about on Twitter, some of the
Some-
comments that are left. It's
Hold
just
on,
like,
Pasta.
Yeah.
Pasta. You said some are like The Walking Dead. It's
Yeah.
like you being nice.
No,
well,
you're just
I think
you're-
it's more than we
you're-
think, right? I really do. I
Right.
believe that there's just as many equally eyes opening up that we don't get to hear about because
Right.
those voices are suppressed, they're put aside, they're shadow banned, they're thrusted apart. Anybody who gets a decent megaphone to start speaking truth, they're going to silence their asses quickly. You know, I mean, they don't want to silence RT because it's the enemy. They want to silence RT because RT is telling a different side of the story that they don't want the American people to decide on. And this is ridiculous. We've never in our lifetime, all of us here on this show right now, have been in an age of mass censorship and authoritarianism. From what we just witnessed past couple years to right now. I mean, it's just mind-blowing where we're at. And that's when I say give me the pill sometimes, because man, you show people the truth and they still gonna go, nope, the sky's yellow, it ain't blue.
And they struggle to catch up. They struggle to catch up about stuff that we were bringing up, what, a year ago, 2 years ago, something like that.
Almost 2 years ago now.
Right. We were all saying it, all of us, and just to see them just hobbling in,
Well,
at the tail
Okay,
end.
It was happening before, but I will always go back just to reference Alex Jones, right?
Yeah.
All the cheerleaders, all the idiots. You
Right
don't
there,
even have to
Chris.
like him. Like when they got him, and he has a humongous following, a loyal
Exactly. I
following
remember that.
for quite a long time, right?
Mhm.
They were cheering, doing backflips, and oh God, good for him. That just fast forward a few years later, and you're just like, oh shit, the carpet got pulled from under my feet. Now I'm on my ass. I don't know what to do. So again, the problem with people is that Alex Jones says a bunch of shit I don't like. Okay, why are you watching his channel? Don't pay attention to it. All they manage to they penetrate your psyche, and they get you to move to do shit that's inevitably going to come back to hurt you. But they're hence what Pasta's saying, The Walking Dead. That's why I always say you can't save everybody.
I was
What
You
did
thinking
think
about
you're
Lucky
that
gonna save
today.
everybody
Burrito?
going to
You're in
bed.
my head, Chris. You're in my
What did
head,
Lucky
man. I was
Burrito
thinking about the
say?
Alex Jones thing today.
What did Lucky Burrito say?
It's funny. It's funny you brought up Alex Jones. Well,
Thinking about that today.
Thank you, chat, for dealing with Ed. I'm pretty sure you know who Ed is, right, Pasta? He goes around everybody's channel and spams through.
Yeah.
So thank you, chat,
Don't address
for
it.
dealing
Just leave
with
it be. Don't even mention.
Yeah.
Don't.
So, they'll tell you I'm the type where I'll just call people on the audience and like, yo,
call them out.
You've been doing your bullshit.
So.
Shut up and then bye. But Alex Jones, part of when like a lot of people make fun of Alex Jones and his Bohemian Grove. When I did the research into Bohemian Grove and I started looking, I was able to track this person was there. This person was there. This person was there. Like actual flight records to show all of these world leaders. So explain to me, why are all these people going to this place over and over and over, out in the boonies to do these weird ceremonies? For what purpose are they doing that?
Yeah.
And so nobody could give me nobody. They could just say, "Oh, you're just a conspiracy theorist." Nobody could give me an actual explanation for why all these world leaders are going to Northern California to go and hang out at some weird party.
Yeah.
Party.
Well, it's the source. They already beat down the source for bringing. It's the source, right? The old establishment trick. If you can't beat back the message, beat back the messenger, right? That's what you do.
Yeah.
You just smear the messenger. So anything that comes from his mouth, and 80% of what Alex Jones says is pretty much true, right? Maybe even more. The thesis of what he's saying is that there's a predator global elite that's trying to run things, and we got to be prepared for them and stuff. So that's the main message. But I mean, I don't know if you guys ever seen Alex Jones and his interview with Farrakhan. If you haven't seen that, holy cow, watch that shit, because that you see two different people from two different sides of the spectrum or whatnot and everything getting together and like coming together and agreeing on certain stuff about the leaders that be. You know what I'm saying? And that's what is the most important thing at the end of the day. I don't give a shit what our differences is. The The first thing we got to do is take care of the people pulling the strings upstairs. Once we take care of them, then we can all get in a room and decide what's best for us. But we got to take care of the problem at hand. And the only thing is that they use that whole divide and conquer method, right? Keep you mad at your neighbors, keep you yelling at each other, get the team sports mentality playing so that you never look up, you just look across, and those people upstairs are pulling the strings, and they're the ones that are dangerous and stuff. But you're right, Chris. It was started with Alex Jones because then it went to a couple other people after that. There wasn't a pushback. Not in fact, there wasn't a pushback. There was a large amount of people
cheering it on.
Yeah. They were supporters.
President, right?
Cheerleaders.
And then it comes down to
they were rah,
more
rah,
libertarians. Then it comes down to us. And then it's like the next thing you know, censorship is running wild. And now they're on it phase 3 or 4 of it. And look, everything that's censored, taken down. It's like ridiculous.
Well, here's the trick. This is what they do, Pasta. Because the left, they're the ones who are the most okay with censorship. As long as you're censoring the other guy. So what they do is they go and censor the other guy, get you to cheer it on. So then when they come back and do it to you, now nobody's listening to you. It's kind of that old, and I know I'm going to jack this completely up, but they say first they came from him and then I didn't do anything. First they came from her, I didn't do anything. Then they came from them and I didn't do anything. Then they came from me and nobody's there.
Nobody's around
the hangman, right? The story of the hangman. But let me just interrupt and push back because I want you guys to peep this right now. Because now we see, I think it was Texas, and I don't know who it was, but Texas outlawed RT. Don't be fooled. It's not left versus right. It might be the left in our face right now that's all for censorship, and authoritarianism and silencing people because they think they're morally superior, right? They got their cloak of virtuosity. Oh, my God, we got to silence these people because what they're saying is violence. Words are violence. I got my ass kicked by a noun. Ooh, shut them up. Quiet. But don't get me wrong. There's the establishment Republicans that when you watch a lot of these hearings, they're just upset because they're not censoring the right people. Why aren't we censoring Russia and China and Iran? Shut those people down. Like I said, Texas was all aboard for RT getting shut down and taken off DirecTV, the governor, I believe, and other people in the bodies and stuff like that. So make no mistake about it. These neocons that coming right back into play, they're all cool with this RT coming down, but that's the way they get you. It's about sheep herding the people in, right? The sheep are worried about the wolf getting them, but really it's the shepherd that will kill them all the time. And that's what they're doing. They're sheep herding people in. So make no mistake about it, because that's the thing. I don't read as much as some, but I watch a lot of freaking hearings because I want to look people in their eyes. I want to see their lips moving. I'm a people person. You know, I grew up in a pool hall. You know, I gambled a lot. I can call bullshit and stuff. I'm a human being that knows other human beings. So I watch a lot of hearings, And a lot of these Republicans, these establishment Republicans, the same ones that are quiet about the elections because it's benefiting them in their areas, are the same ones that want censorship just at their enemies and who they deem their enemies.
Exactly.
The Chinese, the Iranians.
Correct. I mean, look, even to say that left, right, you know, it's all weird because some people who are now online saying free Julian Assange, you know, Snowden was right, you know, at the time, especially with in relation to Assange, they wanted him dead. They wanted Manning dead. They were he was a traitor. I'm like, he's not even American. So the traitor part is just weird. So you really don't know what you're talking about. But anyway, you know, they were cheering on shutting down WikiLeaks and all the rest of it, right? Now now they support him. The people who were cheering him on before are now glad he's in jail, rotting in hell.
Exactly.
The psychological manipulation that they're able to pull on people is just amazing because again, we're people who are just watching this shit. Like we've been consistent the whole entire way, right? We looking, that's not right. I don't like him, but that's not right. I don't mess with this person, but what they doing is stuff. People get their emotions too much in it and they just lose sight of what's really going on. It's
American exceptionalism too, right? That we have the benefit and the luxury of doing that and getting the words and shit, like, you know, in other parts of the country where, you know, like they're just worried about a bomb dropped on their head. They're worried about what they got to eat and stuff like that. We have been so pampered and been able to sit back and like allow this shit to happen. And I know because I was part of the whole progressive movement. Me and Fee met in 2015. when the Bernie Sanders movement was going on. And these people that we all started this thing with, they don't like us anymore. They can't stand us and shit because, they have the luxury of sitting back and going, OMG, I don't like the pronouns you're using. We can tone police you. If you don't want to, like you said, the 20 things, Marcus, and it's close to 20 goddamn things. And some of them ain't even about the priority right now. And not to mention a lot of these people on the left, a lot of the people on the right, they don't understand foreign policy at all. Shit, they don't even know who the World Economic Forum is. So it's just, yeah, I mean, it's where we're at.
Well, that's that, and that brings it back full circle to what we're talking about.
I don't even know who the Council on Foreign Relations is. They forgot about
they
them
don't.
too.
They don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got a lot of shit for the Tulsi stuff right now because we've been very critical of Tulsi lately, and people just don't understand it. It's like, dude, I'm sorry, but new information comes in, shit's gonna change. And I ain't saying she's even bad as the Clinton machine and the Hillary machine. By the way, isn't it kind of crazy that Hillary said, can't we just drone Julian Assange? And then Donald Trump, who thought he was the godfather trying to whack people, letting Pompeo want to whack him. Can't people see what's going on? Meanwhile, he was going around WikiLeaks, with his election, but both of them want him killed. Both of them want him killed. Both sides. Right. Hello, people, wake up.
Well, very presidential Trump was, Hillary said. Yeah, very presidential, pulling stuff like that.
I wanted to bring it back to a lot of people. They focus on like this Russia-Ukraine thing, and nobody wants to factor on how Zelensky even got into office in the first place.
Exactly. Nobody talked about
after Zelensky got into office, what he did the moment he got into office. Nobody factors in these things. I work with a guy, and he's all, man, Putin, man, he's like the next Hitler. And
that's like, they say that shit.
Right.
I'm like, do you understand what's going on? When I start telling about the Azov battalion and start talking about how they are neo-Nazis, technically, actually, they're just the remnants of the Nazis who have been there. Because people forget about, in Ukraine, I want to say the number is around 1 million Jewish people who were killed by the Ukrainians. And
a lot of them
sided with the Nazis.
That low-key dog whistling stuff that they keep pulling.
That element has always been in Ukraine.
Always.
It's wild.
Regardless of who's in power. It doesn't matter if it's a Jewish man who's in power. That element is still there.
But they know, right? They know how to... They know how to go, he can't be neo-Nazis with supporting president's Jewish. Like, come on, man. Like, people, you're that simple. Like, they don't even know what happened, like, about, what you talked about Zelensky going to... Zelensky can't even control these neo-Nazis. He went to the freaking front line of the Donbass war and told them to stand down, and they were like, go scratch. We ain't stopping the shell, and we're going to continue. Because these Nazis hate the Russian more than they hate Jewish people. They really do. They really do. Sorry about that, Chris.
No, you're right. That's what I mean. And I want you to kind of break down a little bit of that, because I know some people have probably come across this who are not the normal typical audience we're used to. And some of these people are not familiar with what the hell is actually going on here. So can you break some of this down with them also so they can understand? Yes,
sure.
Correct.
I'll do the bullet points. I'll do the cliff notes. So I'm going to start from 2014. Now you can go before 2014. You can go back to 2004, the color revolution, how the United States got involved. You can go all the way back to 1991. But I think Ukraine.
Why doesn't anybody ever go back to the 90s? That's what I.
Well, I mean, by 1991, and I think Ukraine was a country in the 1960s. It was created, right? Mm-hmm. By 1991, like less than 25 years into their whole existence, they had already changed and ratified their constitution 3 times. So there's never been stability in the Ukraine. It's always been a situation where you've had ethnic speaking Russians on the eastern board. You've had a lot of westernized kind of EU friendly people on the west side. And there's always been conflict. Like you said, going back to World War II, Stefan Bandera. Before that, neo-Nazis. It was actually Nazis who actually fought on the side with Germany against the Russians. And let's be clear about this. The Russians, right? They lost close to 40 million people in some counts, the highest counts, anywhere from 20 million to 40 million people. I know it's a big gap, but it's a hell of a lot more than the United States, who lost 1 million people in World War II. The Russians lost a lot of people at the hands of the Nazis. So to think about their history, how much more conflict there is between these two groups, Nazis and communists, it goes back and the roots are deep. But I'm going to start at 2014 because that's the most important time and the most prevalent time to what's going on right now. In 2014, there was a coup, a regime change of sorts, and it was sponsored by the West. Thank you very much. It was sponsored by the West.
One of those
And we have the receipts for this.
three-letter people.
Yes, the CIA, of course, and stuff like that. But even more, a little bit less like the State Department, right? And we have all these characters that are back in power today. They're part of the Biden foreign policy team. That's who's back in charge today. The John Sullivans, not John Sullivans, Jake Sullivan, I believe his name is, the Victoria Nuland, the Jeffrey Pyetts. Victoria Nuland's a big name too as well.
Oh yeah,
Anthony Blinken. All these people were in power and part of Obama's foreign policy team in 2014. Now, one thing I'm going to point out that's a little bit more than the cliff notes is what a lot of people don't realize is that the way they start these coups, and people will talk about, there was uprisings of sorts. There were natural, protests going on in the Ukraine against the government. And then the United States came in. That is false. George Soros has spent a lot of money on independent news. Believe it or not, he funded a lot of independent news in the Ukraine 2013, 2014, 2012. It goes back to these little stations started popping up. Those stations that started popping up really fueled the insurgency and the protest against the government that is there right now. And a lot of people don't kind of talk about that because they think it was no influence from the get-go. No, because it's important to understand that because that's how they influence shit today, right? They use the media. It's the arm. It's supposed to be the fourth estate, they call it, but really right now it's bought off, it's paid off, it's controlled. It's your propaganda arm. All those people you see right on that crap on Twitter, they probably get from the mainstream media or a source from it. It's a way to kind of control the narrative. And that's what happened. So as 2014 of these protests were going on, here comes Victoria Nuland, who worked as an ambassador for the United States, was there with Jeffrey Pyatt, and they actually backed a coup on the Maidan, which is in Kiev, the Ukrainian government, that overturned the government, caused the president at the time, Viktor Yanukovych, to flee to Russia and then take over the government. When they did that, they had different factions and different parties, but they actually let in these neo-Nazis into every single facet of their government. The president who took over eventually, I can't remember his name, was Yaz, but then shortly after, Poroshenko took over, who was an oligarch himself. I called him Pork Chop Poroshenko for like 4 years ago, but people remember the name. Because that person who was a puppet of the government, the United States government, every single facet of the government had these neo-Nazis kind of gone into them. Because there's something called street politics in the Ukraine, where a lot of upper types of government kind of source out a lot of street politics and street enforcement through these groups like the Azov Battalion, like G14. So we were actually funding neo-Nazis that became part of the government, became part of the military, became part of the police, became part of every single facet of the street politics. In eastern Ukraine, in the Donbass region, Luhansk, Donetsk, they did not recognize this government. They did not recognize the coup. They wanted their independence. They went to Putin and asked to help them for independence. Putin said, no, I want you to be part of the Ukrainian government. I don't want to have this on my hands. This is going to cause an international faction. Crimea already voted in heavy amounts. And I know Mark Sloboda, who I've talked to, his wife is from Crimea. Yeah. Crimea was not taking it. They didn't want to be a part of this Ukraine. They did not.
Which, by the way, just want to interrupt real quick. Make sure if you guys have not seen it, Franco did a really good interview with him on there. So make sure to go check that out. But sorry, going to head back to you, Pastor.
No, that's okay. The people of Crimea wanted to succeed and go and be a part of Russia. Russia accepted them. It was like a high number of people. And that's where the Western media kind of got into play. Look at Crimea. Russia's taking it back. Blah, blah, blah. It's bullshit. The people of Crimea did not want to recognize that government of 2014 from the coup because that government was filled with a lot of neo-Nazis. The biggest party in the Ukraine, which a lot of the people in the eastern Ukraine were part of, is called the Party of Regions. Well, the new government disassembled it, no longer recognized it, tore it apart. In other words, they were going to make sure the people of the Donbass did not have any representation whatsoever. In fact, a lot of these factions and these people within the Western Ukraine don't like Russians at all. And because Crimea was left and went to the USSR, they decided to try to punish the people of the Donbass by not recognizing their language, punishing them for using the Russian language, not allowing in any public events anywhere whatsoever. They wanted to remove part of their identity. And for the last 8 years, you're talking about these people, these ethnic-speaking Russians, and Luhansk and Donetsk, part of the Donbass region, were begging Putin to get involved. Even Viktor Yanukovych, who had to flee the country and leave, said immediately, you're going to have to get involved over here because these people are not going to be safe. And neo-Nazis use Western-backed weaponry, armed to the teeth, killing these people of the Donetsk, killing people of Luhansk in the Donbass region. And that's why they really wanted to censor what's going on and pull RT from everywhere, because RT has the goods. All they're doing is showing what happened with these people for the last 8 years. Now, between you and me, and I'm going to wrap this up, that's what's going on to this day, because it comes to a time, and now Ukraine has like been the toilet bowl for the United States. They piss and shit all over it. They don't care how they treat the people. There are so many black market things that come out of Ukraine. Human trafficking, weapons, biolabs, drugs, all these things. It's awful what's going on there right now. And now that the Ukrainian military is being completely disassembled, the only people who are going to fight on behalf of the Ukrainians is probably these neo-Nazis and these battalions right now. So what do? You dump AK-47 assault rifles and just give them out to the people. You're asking for chaos. They want a Afghan situation to be mimicked for the Russians again because it bled them to death. And that's what they're trying to create again. So right now, Putin is trying to act fast, trying to reestablish some type of governance over there. Hopefully that, Ukrainians will be able to pick themselves up somehow and get rid of these factions.
Not ill.
Who knows? But the whole thing is that Russia will never let an anti-Russian government that says they want to seek nuclear power on their border. Can you imagine that happening over here on Mexico and Canada? We would never let it happen. And you know what NATO's doing. They've been expanding out east, continuing to go closer and closer, putting missiles on the border of Russia. They're not going to have it anymore. So that's where we're at today. It's something that's been provoked. If any American wants to be mad, I know they want to keep it simple, stupid. I made a tweet the other day. I said his name is Vladimir Putin. It's not Thanos.
Yeah, I saw that. I retweeted that.
Right? Get over yourself over here. We forced this guy into this position. So, and you see the progressives going, I stand against any imperialism whatsoever. Listen, you ain't got to sit there and make a justification for what Vladimir Putin is doing. But for what we did, the United States,
they don't have the history. They don't have the history that Russia has.
History doesn't support it. It doesn't support it at all.
And I saw Shadow say that in there. Good night to everybody who has to dip out.
Love you, Shadow.
But what a lot of people don't mention or think about what Russia is. Think about World War II and World War I. Where was the incursion? Which direction did it come from? It came from the West. It came from Germany straight across that little strip. And so what you're going to do is you're telling a country who's lost tens of millions of people from a westward march like that, from the now NATO countries, to just be comfortable while they just march right up to their door again.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, we would not be cool.
No.
Just like Pasta said, if they decide, you know what, we're going to swap out Trudeau and we're going to put somebody in there who's cool with Russia, and then we're going to ship a whole bunch of guns and weapons and put bases and pharmaceutical companies and all kind of shit all throughout that country. And then let's not forget, Ukraine is one of the most corrupt countries in the freaking world. I mean, let's not forget that. So while everybody's trying to prop this actor up, he's acting the part that, he's this patriotic leader who's stepping in to save his country in this dramatic turmoil that they're in. Don't buy it, people.
Yeah. And here's the thing, too. If we were all in Kiev, y'all can't leave. Y'all can't leave.
I saw that.
I saw Richard's.
I was going to say this.
I can. You
saw
cannot.
Richard's video.
That's what we're dealing with.
Correct.
Yep.
A bunch of Nigerian
did you guys
people that were in the country.
I wanted to bring that up too.
Did you see those girls? Did you see the college students? Like, they were making the video.
Yeah, I know.
Did you have that video up, Chris, on yours? Or if not, I will try to pull it up.
No, I don't have it up now. But no, I saw that she was speaking. One of the students was speaking. She was like, "It's been 3 days since we washed our heads. Like, what's going on here?" But again, I'm supposed to, fly a Ukrainian flag and want to donate some bread to that cause.
It's the low
I'm,
key racism that really just kind of gets under
Well,
your
this
skin.
is
The
again,
low key
Rip,
it's
dog
not even low key.
Yeah.
It's not even low key at this point. It's directly in our face. Now, some of the stuff which we saw with the reporters, which I'm pretty sure most of you guys saw, the racism which we've seen from the reporters, and
Well, I
some
call
of
that
them, some of them overseas, some of them here. I mean, and this is the kind of stuff which we've said, for the longest, that there is this racism which a lot of people don't want to factor in our face, and they'll just say we're kind of crazy. Here, let me prop this up big and show you guys what I'm talking about, or what Chris was talking about.
We want to go home, and they are telling us, first of all, they increase the price of taxi. Who pays almost 2 million naira to go back to Potapa, a 2-hour journey? Anybody that is hearing this, from Kaduna to Abuja, 2 hours, you are telling me to pay 1 million naira? That is not all. We said, okay, we are going to pay it. Now you have locked us in this hostel. Why? No, seriously, guys, what did we do wrong? What did we do wrong? We just came to study medicine. We haven't showered in 3 days. Yes. There's no light in the hostel. There's nothing. We cannot. Everything is running out. This place is not safe. Every single day, some of us have mental trauma. We can't even hear doors closing without someone running. Yes. Someone is moving a box and we are running. It's not fair on us. We have, at any amount, we do not care what they have left. Now they have decided to go and block that route. At this point, I don't know what is going on, and we are not going to be used as bait. Please, let us go. Please, let us go. We do not want to be a part of your war. Please, thank you very much.
wow.
Yeah. So, what's your thoughts on that? That's what Chris was talking about.
That's what I was talking about too.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, pasta. But E, go ahead, weigh in.
I mean, what I don't. Oh my God, I don't know what you want me to freaking say about that. I'm just utterly amazed. I'm just utterly amazed that in a more honest world, that would be blaring at like every single facet of the media right now, because it's just such a grave fucking injustice. But instead, I've got what's his name? I've got fucking George Takei propping up. Gas prices are. You should be fine with rising gas prices, rising food prices. Good glory for the war, right? This dude who sat in an internment camp, right, suffered the horrors of World War II, saying suffer for war. So,
well, that's one thing that I try to throw. Like when I hear people, and a lot of these, let's just call them neoliberals or neocons. All the neos out there.
I wouldn't even give the distinction of that word.
They're thinking, oh well, this is they put all these sanctions on Russia. It's going to stop Russia. It's going to do this. It's going to do that. And I'm like, you guys do realize that Russia has a lot of partnerships with China. They have a lot of business with India. They have a lot of business with Dubai. They have other areas where they can deal. They don't have to worry about what the Western powers are doing. And do you think that this man would have made a move at this point if he didn't know how to handle it in every single way? Because you think he's been getting sanctions for all these years and doesn't know that the sanctions were coming? And that he was going to have to deal with
sanctions
this.
Were coming. He already had sanctions, but more sanctions.
Also, you got to understand that if he's so super evil in this way, and he's this bad guy, why is it that all these other countries, especially Africa and Asia, are like, "Hey, Europe, that's y'all shit. We're staying out of it."
Yeah. By the way, the footage at the train station is pretty harsh too, as well. I don't know if y'all saw that with some people.
What's up, Steve?
What up? And by the way, somebody else also left a comment about the Romani, the gypsies that are getting like just disbarred in Ukraine. We saw an old, once again, the street politics, the police force. There it is. Go out there. Alex Rubenstein had the tweet up and the video up. They just go in there and just remove a camp, beat it down, They don't give a shit. They don't, they don't like Slavic people. They don't like Russians whatsoever. But if you see the footage too, as well, at the train station where they're not letting, the Nigerians get on the train, they're refusing to, and then Poland, who's supposed to be our ally and everything else like that, saying no black people allowed. That's part of the rules. It's just like it's crazy. But then I start to pause too, guys, and I start to say, well, Putin is also a WEF member. Is this some type of like theater that's going on, that's planned together? Because we talked about how we seamlessly transitioned out of the boop boop into this stuff, and all that stuff's gone, and now it's a big distraction. But it also seems like something that has to happen for the global economy to kind of crash, right? Like, now here comes Russia. They're going to pivot out of this situation. There's sanctions. 40% of the fertilizer we get in this United States comes from Russia, right? This is going to affect our farmers and whatnot. They're trying to throw them out of SWIFT, but if you look at the loopholes, it's going to allow Russia to still be okay over there and stuff. So you start thinking, is this just theater? And this is where our minds got to be sometimes.
Well, here's another thing. I'm sorry to interrupt. Keep that thought. But how they stopped the Nord Stream 2, but they didn't stop Nord Stream 1. And Nord Stream 1 is where they get a lot of profits from pumping natural gas out through most of Europe. But go ahead, Pastor.
No, well, Nord Stream 2 now is done too as well, right? So who really suffers too? Like, Europe's going to suffer. It seems like, Steve, who just came up and said, hi, fam, he would always say, like, they're moving the empire. They moved it. The Roman Empire once moved from Rome to United States. Now it's moving from United States to Beijing. So what's in store for us? Because what's going to happen, and stuff, you hear the Alex Jones thing about him, I will eat you. Like, maybe those days are coming right now where they're putting us in a position, right?
I know what you're talking about.
It's going to break down. I will eat your liberal ass. Like he says that shit, but it's like you start thinking if stuff starts breaking down.
Do you guys remember that? Tell me, because I know you know it, Pasta, but did you guys see that?
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
You didn't see that for real?
No, I'm serious.
I feel like I need
he said
to pull
the days are coming, where we're going to start eating people. Because resources are going to be scared. It's going to turn into Lord of the Flies. And he goes, I will eat your liberal ass.
I'm going to pull it up then. See, now you made me have to.
I always warned about, Alex Jones, and everybody was like, we need to censor him. He's crazy. He's a crazy lunatic. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And I was like, once they start censoring him, they're just going to start censoring everybody else. And then they'll start censoring all the little people. It'll just progressively keep happening until it comes for you. And then by the time it comes for you, there ain't going to be nobody to talk for you.
And that's where we're going right now. That's what this whole thing is about. Like, RT is another, because RT was a place where a lot of anti-establishments would get thrown off their jobs and they just end up on RT, right? And you hear people like, Ben Swan, who worked for multiple outlets, say, I had way more limitations at those other stations than I ever did at RT. That's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? We're a more controlled environment in CNN, MSNBC, CNN, what's Fox, all the mainstream medias. It's mass control what you can talk about over there. You can, and they pick the people that they're gonna sing their song, and they pay them a hell of a lot of money. It's like they know who to get and they know who to shut up. So.
I respect your mother, by the way, for watching RT. Her staying relevant through that. Yeah. That was huge respect right there.
You know what happened is when I changed, she changed. Because we in the beginning of the whole thing with the Trump thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, she was a Trump person, I was a Bernie person. We had a real hard time. We didn't communicate well. We had a lot of fights and whatnot. And then I remember hearing some people talking about these Trumpers and the cancel culture, and I was thinking to myself, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to take my mom out to the yard and put her down like Old Yeller because she's a Trump fan? And it just changed me. And actually, there was a part of the Tulsi Gabbard campaign when I was in New Hampshire, and she was talking about, like, we don't bastardize these people. We don't cancel them. We go talk to them because they think differently than us. And it was somebody who worked for the campaign that went and talked to some Trumpers at a restaurant before a Tulsi rally that night, and they ended up buying her food and talking. She had this great communication. And I hadn't talked to my mom. It was like the longest we hadn't talked in our life. I'm a mama's boy. But we were fighting, and I hadn't talked to her about 9 months. Like, we had huge fights, and then I just called her up and picked up the phone. And when I opened up to that and became a person that she said she could talk to, and I realized I became one of these, these cancel culture progressives at one point. Like, it creeped in on me, and I got shocked, and I realized that. And when I was able to open up to my mom, she started opening up to me, and I was like, Mom, check out RT 321.
Right.
It was on DirecTV. It was very easy because, people though, they don't use the internet and the interweb. So she opened up because I was open to her. She opened up to me, and it changed her perspective about what's going on right now. Now she's not a complete Trump diehard. Now she likes him, but she's still got her eye on him. And the number one reason, Julian Assange. Julian Assange. She goes, I don't know why. She goes, Sarah Palin said to release him. The Duck Dynasty guy said to release him. What's going on? She always has an eye on Donald Trump. And she would have never been open to listening to that rhetoric had I not opened up to listening to her.
Yeah, I decided that I would bring this. I couldn't find all the ones that I find are the clips of, and people have like made jokes of them, so it's like music playing.
Tell Steve to put it in the chat. Steve,
this is one of
the
the old ones when I covered it on What We've Been Thinking. So it's like a couple of minutes, like 5 minutes. So you guys can hear a little bit of my.
Yeah, one more thing.
Believe it or not, I got this from somebody who I used to listen to, but COVID broke their brain. But going ahead, E first, and then I'll
no, I just want to say I appreciated Pasta's take on RT and breaking down the background of what happened, because it kind of felt a little bit like us, right? Like they just pulled these misfits out of nowhere, these truth tellers, these line steppers, and then they turned into like this powerful force for truth and, questioning and opening people's minds, and it just made us, I could relate to that, and I respected that. So,
something real quick too. That. And here's the thing too, like from the production value, RT America is different than RT International. I can definitely see that, regardless of pulling the truth tellers too, it's got to be a two-way street. You got to have good business people out there to put the right people in the right places. So, RT America was a little bit different than RT International. So even though they did get all that great stuff coming forward, they still had their issues too as well when they would choose some of their soldiers. Hopefully in the future, if RT America kicks it back, they'll put the right people in management to get more people out there. I say that RT America, when they're ready to come back, just come see the MCSC network, and we'll take that shit over. We'll start letting in truth tellers and start building people. You give us a little bit of a budget, we'll get some people in the right places. Political Matrix, we get some say in there too as well. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
That would be
why
nice.
We got our fam. We'll do it right moving forward. I don't know why I had to say that, but I just want to get that message out there.
Yeah, because there's so much and think about it. I do a lot of this research working 40 hours or more a week. If I had more time on my hands, geez Louise, the stuff which I would, and a lot of this stuff I've read either I've gotten it from listening to commentary, listening to speeches, or even I saw a video and then saw certain books and then went and found those books and then read the books. And on some of this stuff. So it's like, for instance, the Bavarian Illuminati, there are literal letters in museums that confirm their existence because they had plots against governments. Like one of the times, one of the writers was literally writing and sending messages. He got struck by lightning. His messages got discovered.
Steve, man, he's great. Just reading his. I was
going to tell you in my Joe Biden voice, they don't want you to do that. They want you to be consumed with other things, so you can't tell the truth, and their narrative lives.
Well, honestly, that's what we need to do on these times. You could be Biden. I'll do Obama, and let Steve pick up another one of the presidents, and then we have the presidents going back and forth. I got to show you guys this video, and sorry, cringe at my my earlier awkwardness. But let's see what we got here.
Hello, and thank you for joining me. I am your host, Marcus Cage, and this is What I've Been Thinking.
Let's skip ahead a
sorry,
little
I've
bit.
been away for.
Is not handling the pandemic all that well. Now, Alan Jones supposedly a famous prepper, talks about the globalists.
That's what I said. I used to love it. That's what I said. I used to love this guy, but COVID broke his brain.
COVID broke his brain. January 6th broke his brain.
Yeah, well, I honestly
elections broke his brain.
When you get to some of these bigger platforms, you get little incentives that kind of push you.
Yeah, I told you the combination of Obama, Trump, and COVID just completely
hurt
rewrote
people, like
everything. It
hurt,
broke
like some
people.
brain
But,
damage, permanent.
yo, there
brain.
was people you couldn't even say like, yo, Obama's not, he's not doing this properly, or I disagree with him on this.
I
People is
know.
acting like, you stole from their grandma or some shit. It was wild.
Yeah, I got in my wall. I got an artist from Lucio Zago who does a lot of great work. Lucio Zago, he did this painting. It's called The
Steve,
Big
man.
Sleep, right? And it's Obama in a big chair reading a story, and all the activists are on the floor that went to sleep. Occupy Wall Street, Black Lives, they all went to sleep because Obama was president, and that means everything is okay.
Mhm.
I admit I'm not gonna lie. I was one of those people who was stuck in that, but it
I knocked
doesn't.
on
First
doors
term
for
I was
Obama.
there.
I
knocked
did
on
too.
doors.
I was right
I
there.
knocked on doors and I phone baked for Obama.
Twice.
Well, I didn't do it the second
Fucker
time.
across. I did it
Then,
twice.
first
Fucker across
time,
the
I
way.
The
believe
second
in-
time, I was like,
I wised
all
up
right,
the second time. I
this
was done.
motherfucker is
My dumb
But I
ass
was still
shit.
got told he's better than the other choice bullshit.
Well, and I was living in Florida too, and so
Me
that
too.
pressure is on you when you're in
Yes.
a swing state.
Yes.
So I understand.
I got guilted. I got guilted.
I got guilted into voting for Hillary Clinton.
I got guilted into that too. That was it. That was the last bad move. That was it for me.
And Bernie, supporting Bernie, that was just a hope. That was a prayer. And once I saw
Hail
it,
Mary, the Hail Mary of Hail Mary. That was the Hail Mary of Hail Mary.
Bernie was like so much better than Obama. You're like, holy shit. And then for me, Tulsi was like, well, like
because
she
you
was
understand
awesome.
foreign
And now
policy.
it's like young globalist leader Tulsi
But
pushing
because you know
Paxlovid.
foreign policy. For most,
Well,
you gotta remember, most of the left doesn't know shit about foreign policy.
They
Not
don't.
really.
They don't. And that's the progressives we know. They didn't know dick about foreign policy then. They don't know dick about foreign policy now.
What were you going to say, Chris?
No,
He was
I was gonna say
laughing.
the thing with Tulsi that always kind of made me like, look at her sideways is that she's in love with the military. Granted, I know that's her background and all that other stuff, but it was like she kind of looked to me like Obama in certain places, right? When he said, I'm not against wars, I'm just against dumb wars. I mean, all wars are dumb, right?
Yeah.
And she kind of took that, to me, it came across that she was like, well, over here is okay, over there is not. So I didn't really, so I always looked at it funny because foreign policy has always been my area of interest. Like, I don't know why, just for a long time.
You know the thing that got me there, Chris? It was like, it was like the Eisenhower thing. Like, I thought Eisenhower was a great president. I don't know a lot about him. I wasn't alive, obviously. But him warning people of the military-industrial complex and the technocratic age coming. Like, that was in his farewell speech. You go back and listen to that. He's also talking about the technocrats that are coming.
Correct.
It was like he had this kind of like situation where he knows what it's like in war. And he values lives that way because he's seen lives wasted on war. And I thought Tulsi had that same thing where she was going to understand that's like she has a more grasp on understanding these lives that are much more at risk and they're much more precious to her because she's seen her brothers and sisters die. And I really took that in and swallowed that. But now, like A-Ross said, now they're both shit. And you know what I'm saying? Well, I don't look at Tulsi the same way as I look at Bernie. Bernie is like, oh my God. Tulsi, I don't know what's going on, but I'm still not. And hey, she ain't picked up the phone. She ain't been on our show. She ain't been on Nico. She ain't been on Kim Iverson. We were okay when she was running her campaign when we'd show up and do what we can do. But now it's okay to go off Fox. Now we're forgotten.
You guys did a whole lot for her during that time period. I remember.
She did a lot for us too, though. She did a lot for us because
online.
She gave us access, and I want to thank her for doing that and giving us access because that was the thing that really impressed me is that every single rally she had or any type of event she had, she would always have a press gaggle in the back for about 15 minutes after while people were lining up to sign, take pictures and stuff, and she would take any questions. And to me, I admire that because the other DNC people, they would run and hide at their events. You go to their conventions, you couldn't get near these people. I tried to break into a dinner so I can corner Adam Schiff. They recognize my ass right away, like, get out of the room. You ain't supposed to be here, And when I asked Kamala a question, you can go back and look at it. Like, they had that press gaggle in Long Beach, and the Democrats had to come out and answer questions. Man, you can see the fear on their faces as we're asking questions. They're like, who's this person that's asking that question? Why did I look at him? And why do I got to answer this right now? This is dangerous. And we put people on record. We got Cory Booker saying he stands by the OAS now, so we know he was a shill. We had Kamala Harris say she would stick with censoring people and taking people down off Twitter, including the president. So we knew she was all about that. We got Andrew Yang trying to bullshit the UBI about what are you going to do when people, when the elites just charge higher for rent. So we got all these people on record.
We were just talking about that the other day.
Yeah, we just talked about UBI on the last
That
week's show.
means testing UBI for performative.
Where do y'all stand on it?
What that means testing
UBI.
stuff?
Where do you stand on UBI?
I'll go first.
Okay.
How I stand on it is I look at UBI is one of their methods for trying to transition into this next phase, and they know once the fourth industrial revolution starts kicking in, there are going to be more people off work. So they got to start phasing in, giving you income, because they know the economy is going to start to suffer once they start laying off all these people. And so they're just trying to formulate,
what
getting
you
ahead
got
of
to
the
do to
curve.
get that check is the thing. You got to be a good citizen. And if you don't follow the rules, you don't get your check. That's why UBI is dangerous. And I learned that as a person who always wanted UBI.
Well, that's how I've gotten with UBI, Medicare for All. All of these things overall in a perfect world would be good. But we got to remember who is controlling the means to these things. Sorry to step all over it, Chris and E. What's your thoughts?
No, for UBI is bribery, right? If you don't give the people what they need on some level, they may actually turn into rabid dogs and may want to start, crossing gates into gated neighborhoods,
Pitchforks
singing
coming.
DMX. With DMX playing in the background, y'all been eating long enough now, stop being greedy, right? They want to stave off some of that. So what you need to do is give people some money so that they can continue sitting on a couch watching YouTube and doing absolutely nothing. So that's a way to not let people starve, but it's not out some altruistic thing like, oh, we want to help people. It's you got to spend a little money sometime, you know what I mean? So you'll spend the money, keep them quiet, and that won't be anybody we'll have to deal with, because as soon as they get out of line, we'll take that money away and they won't know what to do. So you're effectively using a bribe to create a slave.
What's your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts about UBI is like with Medicare for All and the rest of it. It's not the concept itself. In a perfect world, the concept could actually help, but in this world, they're just detrimental to autonomy and freedom as a whole. I mean, you look at higher wages, for example. What happened when they got higher wages? They started dropping people off, putting them on skeleton shifts, right? They started inflating everything. So what will happen with UBI? The same thing will happen, right? Everything will start costing more, right? The people will have to start working less and eventually turn into what Chris is talking about, slaves. So
if the program was run by regular average working class people,
exactly,
then just like Medicare for All, right? If these things were just operated, controlled just for what they say they are, nothing, no kind of
no more, no
manipulation.
less.
Here, you paid your taxes, this is what you get. You go to the doctor, this and that. We're not going to force you to take anything. If you have a broken leg, we'll deal with your leg. We're not going to try to give you 97 prescriptions for Percocets and Vikes and everything else, right? Look, technology is supposed to make life easier, right? And it is to we see the progress we're making with technology across our entire life, right? No matter what aspect of life you want to look in, tech has touched it, and in a lot of places it has made it better. We can't pretend that it hasn't. With that being said, that comes at the expense of the need for human labor. So I see why there should be a program like UBI to offset. Look, you're not going to need a lot of the working class, you're not going to need as many of them. It would be cool if the government did subsidize some people's shit, right? But who's running it, how it's going to be run, how it's going to be operated is nasty. So therefore, I'm against it.
I like what
Right.
Atroz said, right? UBID's nuts.
Mm-hmm. I want to let's go there. I want to play this real
Yeah,
quick.
we got.
'Cause for one,
We got to
it
get ready
cracks
because we
me.
got the main fight, Marcus. We got
It cracks
like,
me
come
up.
on now.
Yeah, let me
We
get
gotta
this
get the
right.
main
Yeah,
fight
Marcus,
over
we
here.
almost there, kid.
You know,
Let me get this
Masvidal
last
gonna
part.
do something. I got money against Masvidal.
Okay.
Why?
It's the
Why?
last.
Because you
The
think
way-
they need why?
Because
You need Covington.
because
Colby
the
to win?
last fight, my friend let me pick Adesanya, so I let him pick the main fight tonight, and he picked Masvidal. So I got the other guy. So by process of elimination, I got the other Trump supporter.
I want to see. This is what's going to be coming soon. People. This is where
This
they
is it.
want most people to start acting like this.
Alex Jones still doing his thing. He's been doing it for forever, as far as I know. He's probably never going to give this up.
Shut up, Jamaro.
I know, right?
I'm just going to be honest. My superpower's being honest. I've extrapolated this out, and I won't have to for a few years because I got food and stuff. But I'm literally looking at my neighbors now and going, I'm ready to hang them up and gut them and skin them and chop them up. You know what? I'm ready. My daughters aren't starving to death. I'll eat my neighbors. See, my superpower is being honest. I'll eat your ass. I will. I'm combat model, optimal self-sufficiency. Probably the leader. The point is have you thought about that yet? Because I'm somebody that thought I could fix this, and I'm starting to think about having to eat my neighbors. You think I like sizing up my neighbor? How I'm going to haul him up by a chain and chop his ass up? I'll do it. My children aren't going hungry. I will eat your ass. That's why I want the globalists to know. I will eat your ass first. I want them.
I will eat your liberal ass.
Mm-hmm.
Yo,
but I mean, what's the message behind it, right? People want to go. This is what I'm talking about. This guy's inciting violence. He's telling you to eat the neighbors. No, he's not. But what he's saying is that it's Lord of the Flies time. We let these globalists keep playing their games because just like George Carlin said, they don't give a fuck about us, and they will let us eat each other while they go hang out and kick it wherever they want. That's
well, I mean, it's obviously look at the especially where we're staying. I know, Pasta, you're not super far from me. Out here in Southern California, you have the whole issue with the homelessness going on like crazy. If they can sit there in $1 million areas and just step over homeless people like it's nothing, then why would they fret when you start killing each other in the streets?
Hey, Marcus, to this comment, this is what I've said on this show and, off air many a times. The last event, the Rona shit, that was like they dragged us into the future, instead of even trying to sell it to us or telling us, like carrot and stick type shit. They didn't even do that. They just, let's go. We ain't no questions asked, no time to go. Don't grab no bags. Let's go. Boom, we here. Now you take his Zoom meetings.
You know why? Because they're losing power. That's why, though. Because they're trying to get their grip, and if they don't get on schedule right now, if they don't get on schedule, then they're screwed. The greatest threat to the empire is its own citizens, and the more we wake people up, as we get woken up, the more we can take away from them. And they know that, and that's why they're accelerating as quickly as they can right now, Chris. They ain't got no time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's why they won't put you in the metaverse. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
like,
I'm gonna buy me some land in the metaverse.
Believe it or not,
I'm gonna buy low, sell high, and get out.
I'm gonna throw one out there for my people who read a good book. It literally says in there, Satan comes down with a heavy wrath because he doesn't have much time left, and that's the reason why more of this control. Before, they just show a commercial and you guys are, oh, okay, I'll just follow this. If somebody hops on TV and say breaking news, you just follow. Now everybody's starting to wake the fuck up to what's going on. So they got to find, okay, wait a minute. Shit, they're not just listening to us anymore. We got to force these motherfuckers to listen.
Yeah.
That's what's starting to happen now, more and more and more. So the more people wake up, the more that we can't do the soft power. They got to do the hard power. It got to be, we got to cut out any information that can disrupt the feed. Basically, we got to force them, like for instance what they did with some of these mandates. we'll take your job if you don't comply. And that's going to start becoming more and more. No more carrot, all stick.
Hey, Marcus, guys, I want to ask you this. I want to ask you guys this, right? Since we were talking about Russia, Ukraine, and we do look at things a little differently, right? So, did you see Brittany Griner was detained in Russia a couple of days ago?
Yeah.
Now,
for oil, for cartridges, and for weed cartridges. Yeah.
I'm just saying, what are the odds that a black athlete who's gay gets caught in Russia while during the middle of this? Like, I'm just saying, it looks as if they're doing everything and anything. They pulling out no stops to psychologically get you to like hate these people, and it's very.
I'm sure a lot of people got arrested, and I'm sure it's just like a ticket. They ain't gonna arrest her and throw away the key. No way. I mean, they're gonna probably seize her shit, write her a ticket, whatever the case may be. So many people have probably gone through that, but you're right. That's what they want to do. It's a woman of color. It's a gay woman. It would just look good. As soon as you put it out there, it's like, oh my God, look what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So
woman of color and LGBTQ. They're hitting on the three major pressure points. Well, I don't think people care as much about the basketball player part, but the fact that it's a celebrity who ticks these boxes, and that way we can. This is somebody who's going to be high profile. Those people in these categories who we've used to react certain ways. Like, for instance, there are all these different shootings that happen. Though I don't think these are false flags when these cops are killing these people, the timing seems to be very interesting a lot of times. It'll be, this one happened a month ago, this one happened 7 months ago, this one happened 8 months ago, but they all drop within like 3 weeks of each other. Kind of interesting how that works.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny that that this happened at the height of Russia is the devil, But again, remember too, they have to have a monster to justify the almost $800 billion in defense spending that we're doing.
Yeah.
So
and here's the thing too. Right before this invasion started, or right when it was about to start, I don't even want to call it an invasion. I'm calling military action, because I don't think for sure that they want to take over this country. I think they just want to make sure there's not a hostile country on their border, and especially that ones that's seeking nuclear weapons and stuff. But right before it came out, I think the Washington Post got a hold of this document that was supposed to say that Putin has all these camps already set up, for gay people and shit like that, and they were really trying to demonize it. And literally inside their writings, they were talking about like it's going after people with religions and this and that, and the LGBT community. Like, they literally put that in there so Americans can see, the virtue signalers can see. You know what I'm saying? So, somebody says, when are you going to have Rizza Islam on your show? Hamza, I'm going to reach out for sure. I got the number. I saw Rizza Islam walking in the hotel, went running up to Rizza because, he was there. He had a shirt that said "Got Censorship." I told him, I got to get you a shirt that says "Fuck Censorship." We started talking by the elevator. I got his information. I'm trying to put together a panel to talk about reparations, and I'm going to have Rizza Islam and some other people and see what's going on. I'm still in the works of it.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably arrange something like that. We'll see. I got to see what's going on. Right now, it's crazy times, and a lot of moving parts. And once we get settled and stuff, we'll get Rizza on. But I have his information. He was cool as shit. We had a great conversation by the elevator. I told him about my conversation with Reverend Annie Chambers, how it was life changing. Because that's to me, I think if you talk to Fee, you talk to Johnny, the interview that had most effect on us probably was, I would guess, I know for me it was Reverend Annie Chambers, just hearing her speak and talking about the ways of what she talked about. So yes, I will try to get Rizza Islam on for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I got his info.
And let me know how close we're getting to the starting fight. I don't want to have.
I got about 2 more minutes. Can we?
Okay. All right.
It's 8:15.
So we got about 2 more minutes. Pasta, can you give everybody your information? For those who do not know, I mean, pretty sure most of you guys should know how to find Pasta. All the different ways to find Pasta and the Convo Couch. Your social media, all that, and anything that you have planned coming up that you want to plug.
So thank you so much, first of all, for having me on, Marcus, Chris, E. I really do appreciate it. I should have done this a
No,
lot sooner.
appreciate you coming on, man.
It's the pleasure. You ever see Office Space? Hey, the pleasure's all on this side of the table over here.
Love
Really,
that
it is,
movie.
man. I you know, and Marcus, we're gonna have you on soon. Put something together really nicely, and then we'll eventually get to the rest of the boys out there too as well down the road as we continue to grow. Remember, the Convo Couch. We like to to help people out that helped us out when we were young and starting off, and we had a lot of people throw us biscuits, but we hustled. Nobody gave us permission to do what we're doing at the Convo Couch. We did it ourselves. And anybody who has a desire to be a citizen journalist and speak truth to power, please do the same. That's what we need more of nowadays, because they're going to keep shutting people down, and we need new ones to pop up. We're stronger when we have more voices speaking truth. So you can always go to theconvocouch.com. We mostly sell the Rockfin bit, right? Like, we're on YouTube, but we've been demonetized on YouTube for 14 months. We don't do any of our boop boop stuff on YouTube. We don't do any of our election stuff on YouTube. We only do it on Rockfin because, unfortunately, we keep getting silenced and censored. I don't know if you saw that we went to Nicaragua and Honduras to observe their elections.
I watched all of it.
I'm glad you did. It was amazing. It was life-changing going to the Global South. We went.
I follow Global South politics, and
I know you do.
All especially anything that has to do with Latin America.
It's one of the things we started from the get-go. We were talking about how these people, we would talk about migration. Like, a lot of the things that really kind of opened our eyes was we were talking about all these people from Trump supporters who wanted a wall. And I could never understand that, because I was like, why don't you guys go to the root of the problem? Like, it's not about the wall. Why are so many people migrating here? Well, this is the land of the free and the home of the brave. Like, no, they're migrating here because our politics, because we have 80 bases in the Global South. We put up these puppet governments so these corporations can make a ton of money. I didn't eat a banana for 2 years at one point because Chiquita, which used to be part of the UFC, which is the United Fruit Company, not the UFC that's going on right now, pretty much forced a coup on the country of Guatemala, so that therefore they can control those natural resources. And that's what goes on in the Global South. We go in there, we tell them what to do, we prop up these governments that are friendly to our corporations so we can rape them of their resources, resource extraction, and then force our monetary system on there and use austerity measures, which means that the people have to pay it back while the corporations make money hand over fist. Therefore, we create instability in those countries. People migrate to our border, and now we have a problem on the border. So why don't we fix the problem and go to the Global South and fix these problems? So going to Nicaragua, going to Honduras, understanding how Honduras is like tied into the U.S. imperialism, how there's 3 military bases in that country, the avenues and the waters that the Libre Party and Xiomara Castro has to weave around, but trying to figure out what's going on behind the closed doors too as well is very intriguing. Nicaragua, a different situation, where the government is in control. There's no U.S. interest there. There's no U.S. Army base there. There's no military base there. And seeing their
just CIA.
Process, yeah. Yeah, I know, right? But seeing the election process is like, wow, it was just mind-blowing.
I have to laugh at this one. This is hilarious.
Just ignore him. Just ignore it.
That's
that's not true.
Jeez, man.
But sorry, go ahead, Pop.
Just seeing these elections is amazing. Up next this year coming up, we're going to try to get to Colombia. We're going to try to get to Brazil. There's 2 elections going on over there. Colombia, very interesting because they have a puppet government over there, very U.S. friendly. A lot of people don't realize that the top 5 countries to receive weaponry from the United States, military arms, of course, Colombia. You have Israel, exactly. Israel, Egypt, Colombia, very heavy in the game.
Well,
Saudi Arabia.
Colombia is like their main base in South America. Like, through Colombia, everything that happens.
Yeah. Their biggest base in Central America is Honduras.
Don't give it all away.
Yeah.
Because I'm planning a panel very, very shortly coming up. And I want to have Fiorella definitely a part of it. I want to have Franco on, Atres, and a couple other people. So I'm still working on that. And we're gonna have to get into
government. El Duque, right? That's what's going on over there. Now in Brazil, we got a heavyweight fight. We got Johnny Bones Jones moving up to fight Francis Ngannou. We got Lula da Silva, who will probably be running against Bolsonaro in Brazil. That's a heavyweight fight. So we're gonna go down and try.
There might be like war on the streets over that one.
There might be, and hopefully we'll be safe. We'll figure out what's going on. But observing these elections, that's what we got to look forward for the Convo Couch this year. A lot of other great announcements to come, but please go to theconvocouch.com. All our links are there. We hype the Rockfin because, like we said, we can't talk about elections and the boop boop over there on YouTube. So we always swing over to Rockfin. So if you want to get our best content, go over there to freaking Rockfin. Check out the Convo Couch. Help us out over there. You can always show some love, get a subscription. If you can't, you ain't got no money, we understand. Just come like, share, subscribe, because that's all it takes to build a movement. And thank you so much for having me on, boys. I really do appreciate it. I had a lot of fun today.
Appreciate you.
I'm
Thank
so
you.
glad you
Bye.
came.
I'm gonna watch the. I'm about to look. The bar is right outside. That big screen is right here. I'm about to watch that
You
fight.
gotta watch that fight.
I wanted to make sure to just squeeze this in right before the fight, and then we can let everybody free after that. But so glad to have you on here. For those who don't know, we've been talking about this back and forth with Pasta for a minute, and just the schedules never kind of clicked up, but now it finally worked. Surprise! I heard from Fiorella, and Fiorella will be dropping by next week. So look forward to another fun conversation. That's why we're going to talk about some more of these issues, Latin America, women's issues, a bunch of different stuff. And look forward to Pasta coming back. What's that?
Marcus, you got to help her out with music. She still thinks the Dave Matthews Band is a good band. I keep telling her the most overrated band of all times. Dave Matthews sucks.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord.
She
Is
hates
she
on
really
the
on
Beastie
Dave
Boys
Matthews?
Get Out My Soul. No.
No. And especially Chris. Chris, you're gonna have to get her straight. Like, I used to play alternative rock. And so no, we're not doing no Dave Matthews. This isn't your mom's fucking music tonight. No.
Most overrated band of all times, Dave Matthews, for sure.
Yeah,
I told her that she gets mad.
Oh Lord, no. We're gonna have to get her straight, and especially she's a Latina. I wanna hear her throwing in some more Latin music, because for those who don't know, like the primary music I listen to after primary, and then I listen to my alternative rock after is I listen to a lot of reggaeton. So
she loves reggaeton though. But can I say
I gotta see who she's listening to, because I might have to like teach her.
She likes reggaeton.
A little bit more. Okay.
But going down to the global south, that was the amazing part, Marcus. When I tell you it was life-changing in the streets in Honduras when they're singing the song from Johnny Ventura called Save On, and you're out there and the people are dancing, Save On, and it's like, and it's the energy. And then when you're in Nicaragua too, all the songs that they're playing, Danielle, the culture was just like
I used to tell people, they don't know what it's like, being in like San Juan, and during Three Kings, and the parties and celebrations down there in Puerto Rico. So I mean, I know what you mean. It's a whole different vibe when you go to a lot of these Latin countries. Well, it's a different vibe just getting outside of the U.S. in general, but Latin countries is different. I know Panama.
My people from Panama, so that's everyday shit.
I know, right?
That's part of the reason why, like, I do pay attention to a lot of geopolitics and have my whole life. With people who come not from this country, you tend to pay attention to different things and you see things a little bit differently. Even with our own people, right? Being Black, West
Latino,
Indian, Central American, Hispanic, whatever. We all got our own little niches and own little ways that we see the world. So it's good to have that perspective. It's good for people to travel, especially those who didn't come up in Atlanta or Los Angeles or
I don't speak the language. I was a gringo going down there and just observing, and it was amazing. It was so it was just worth it. But I don't know what I can cook you, Chris. But Emmanuel, you're gonna make you my vegan burger, and Marcus, I'm gonna make you some vegan orocos con dulas. And we're gonna have a good time, baby.
There we go. I noticed Glory Jones
What's
snuck in
up,
here.
Glory?
Hey, Glory Jones. Oh, no.
Glory, well, you already know.
We love some old school reggae too.
Yeah, here goes.
Bad Marxist, I will choke you. You say that again.
Marcus loves reggaeton, by the way. If y'all don't know, he loves reggaeton. Like, that shit is funny.
You know who likes Drake? Nico.
Oh,
Nico always makes fun of Kendrick Lamar and be propping up Drake. And I'm like, I'm 48, baby. I'm all about Biggie. I'm all about Eric B. and Rakim. I'm always back, you know. I'm
yeah.
old school.
I still mess with that too, my brother.
Look,
Oh, yeah.
Drake is popular. He makes a lot of pop music that is easy to digest. You don't need to think about it. But for me, it's like,
Come on,
I've
listen
never
to
listened
some.
to a Drake album.
Come on, why you gotta listen to that stuff when you got MF Doom, you got Prof, you
Yeah,
got
but I'm saying
some of the
the
rhyme
thing is,
sayers. You got a lot better music than Drake.
But I'm saying when you're in the car, you listen to one thing. When you out and we down here outside South Florida, I mean you're gonna hear Drake all night long.
Yeah,
But in
but
the car
Nico,
ride,
Nico
ride
hasn't listened
home,
to. You got the whole library of MF Doom. You got to catch up first before you even put some Drake on. You got plenty of stuff to listen to. You ain't even need to listen to Drake. If you at a club dancing, I get it, but
that's what I'm
come on,
saying.
man.
When you out, like out and about, me, I would never. He don't play in my car,
All right,
like
good. Well, I will
Only
ride with
time-
you then, Chris, any
Only
day you
time
want.
he'll get play is if that Bad Bunny song he comes on, he's in. That might get you a little play if you creeped on somebody else's song. That's about it.
I listened to a lot
Yeah,
of Drake.
Glory,
I
that
listened
was
to a couple
bad.
Drake songs though. I did.
I mean,
I did.
he's got a look. The joint he has with Rick Ross, those is okay. Like
Headlines.
what he said about Kobe wife, bitch, you weren't with me shooting in the gym. Like that was a hard line. I gotta say, like that was pretty good, even though I really don't like him. Oh,
He's
Street.
all right.
What he said?
You
Drake got
see what-
more.
Degrassi head ass. All right, I gotta go, guys. I love you guys. Thank you so much for having me on. I look forward to doing this again, and we'll get you guys rolling through soon as well on the Convo Couch, babe.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right,
Thank you so much for being
Thank you
here.
so much, Pastor.
You guys seriously, thank you. This has been a long time coming. It's too long, and like I said, I had a lot of fun tonight. Thank you so much, and I appreciate it. Look forward to hanging with you fools again soon.
Oh yeah. Oh, most definitely. And
Go
everybody-
Kobe! See, I can't believe I'm rooting for Kobe tonight. That's crazy. Kobe.
Yeah,
Kobe.
we
All
only
right,
do
brother.
so because of money.
I'll see y'all later. Later, E. Later, Chris. Later, Marcus.
All right.
Later,
brother.
later, Pastor.
Oh man, so glad for having him on here.
Sure.
And
LeBron put up. Yo, LeBron.
oh,
put up
there
56
we go. That's
tonight.
what I'm talking about. Gente de zona. Yeah. Ooh, man, I wish that YouTube wasn't so touchy. Man, I would put on some Gente de zona right now. So can get me in trouble there. But
the Lakers finally won. LeBron had 56 against the Warriors.
is that what you're gonna have to do to win a game? Fucking score 50 to 60 points every damn game?
Pretty much, it's gonna be a tough off season.
Can we watch you watching the fight?
Oh, if I take the camera and I probably turn around, put it like outside the window, you probably can see the bar.
No, I'm gonna free. This is gonna be a free Chris night. I'm gonna end it shortly. That way, my boy can get down there, have a little bit of fun on a Saturday night for a change. I'm pretty sure E has Chippendale meeting to go to. Y'all didn't know that? For extra money, he be doing Chippendale parties on the weekend for elderly widows.
He said
Michael Dangelo shit, right, Marcus? Why are you telling people my shit, man?
Look, he said he's a late night organ donor. Hit him up.
Oh, oh yeah, I wanted to show y'all my shirt. Hopefully y'all like it. I wore this in honor of those seeing those people who were stuck over there, who look similar to the three of us on here, what they're going through over there. Even though we're supposedly free all over the world, it don't really look like it all over the world. So, just wanted to put that out there. And like I said, Fiorella will be joining us next week. I can't tell you guys all the stuff which I have planned yet. Oh, after this, make sure. Actually, let me just pull it up. I'm gonna show you guys the old school episodes, which I was talking about before. With this is one of the episodes which the three of us did one of our early episodes that is going to that I've clipped a short portion of it. Granted, it's going to be me mostly talking, only because it's a dovetailing on another video I'm doing as far as the people who kind of control a lot of things. So I'll show you the intro to this one real quick. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I see. You know, you had that other video up. You know, you was light in the face, right? You don't see no grays in your joint though, man. That's good.
It's because I don't have this camera on 1080p. It's some gray in there. It's just the 720 kind of just blurs it all into black. But when I guarantee you guys, when you see the because I'm gonna do like me explaining these clips, you know, and when I re-upload them, you guys might see some of the gray in there, you know. But and actually, I'll probably be still wearing the same shirt because I'll probably just do it right after this. But yeah, it's some grays in there. That's all I'll say. But here, let's pull it up real quick. This is the episode, this is the video that I'm working on right now. I am updating it. This is from about a year and a half ago on this channel. That's the reason why I say sometimes it's worthwhile to go back and check out some of our old content. But here's the intro to that video.
I have to ask you, where'd you get that music from?
And we really did go over all that shit.
We did.
We really did. Damn, it's been a minute. You know, you just go through you know, the days, weeks, months past, you don't really realize like just how many we've done, how much we've actually covered and talked about. And we still have an audience. Damn, thank you guys. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it so much.
Yeah, my editing wasn't quite as good as it is now, so it's a little rough, but I guarantee you the information is dead on. And I'll admit the sound quality is going to be a little off. I had a fan blaring in the background, so but yeah, this one right here, it's one you guys really should check out. Well, actually, I'm re-uploading it, and the audio will still be kind of a little bad, but this one right here, definitely need to check out this information.
Hello, I am your host, Young Morpheus. I am here with a.
There we go. Yeah, that's just a little intro. That's a little bit of the intro. So I don't know if I'll scrap it or not, but that's the original. And Chris, just a little bit more. Give me one more minute. I'm gonna jump in to that video, which the live stream, which was after the one, which I'm gonna probably put maybe about 20 minutes of this out, but I want you guys to go back and check this this whole episode. It's called this one's called Red Pill, Blue Pill, Clear Pill. So let me bring it up real quick.
Touting out this bill.
Who's that guy?
That's indicative of.
Oh my God.
So
I forgot you didn't used to wear hats.
The visualization and symbolism is quite
Yo,
fascinating.
we miss you, kid, man. When you gonna come back, man?
Yeah, we want to see your
I would
face
still have
again.
to look more into it, but it is quite interesting how
the young Marcus does look like Anthony Mackie.
Though they play it off as a brotherhood social
looks
organization
exactly the same.
that's just
Exactly.
that touts like solidarity and stuff like that, but they seem to be able to have like a huge amount of power, on various levels of the
yes, Emmanuel with a face. He does have a
and
face.
social structure.
My facial
Well, what
hair
the hell I was talking about?
thinner, and that's it.
That's pretty much my stance on it right now. Because
let me put us on the bottom.
Ooh, that was
so you can.
No, because
I'll put us on the side. How about that?
I want to be able to, because I've been doing a ton of research, and so I don't want it to be biased on my perspective. I want to be able to run some of this stuff past somebody who is they're in the know about things, they're intelligent, but they're just not really looking at this stuff yet, and they've kind of seen some things, and so I kind of want to lay out more of those breadcrumbs.
I was a little thinner back then, I see.
What do you think, Chris?
I was interested in hearing you go on based on what you started. I wanted you to go a little bit further into it, just to expand so you can start using names.
He really does, Chris. I mean, Glory. Yeah.
Right. So go ahead. It's fresh in your brain, so that's what I mean. You take the lead. Go.
Well, I got my notes right here, so I will break out some notes and some interesting things. First off, we will go with a lot of here's the interesting thing. The misconception that a lot of people have is that all of them are always on the same page. That's the biggest misconception. That's the reason why they're like, oh, well, that can't work. Well, for the most part, for most things, they're on the same page. But think about it. Say, for instance, if we're talking about green technology and your family is working on the brand new technology, but one of the other families is an oil tycoon family, that's going to draw a rift, on those top levels. And so those are some of the different battles that go on. I mean, a couple of examples before I get into the names. There is two suspected high-level family members. One of the Astor family, which if you don't know who the Astors are, you really need to look them up. Anybody from New York, I know Chris knows who the Astors are. The Astors basically own, most of New York. And I'm talking about New York City, Manhattan, all of that. One of those members of the family was against the forming of the Federal Reserve. Now, it's interesting that that member would die on the Lusitania. And we'll go into the Lusitania later on. It's all kind of crazy things that went on with that. Even if you're not looking at it from conspiracy theorists, I do have a lot of knowledge in explosives and demolitions and things like that. And being that my job in the military was a torpedo man, it is anytime a ship sinks in 18 minutes, the bells should
it wasn't my
always go
artwork.
off in anybody's head who's dealt with ammunition. The other one that I was gonna say, what was his name that was killed? He was killed on one was killed on the Lusitania, one was killed on the Titanic.
Signs, you remember
I'm
this?
forgetting his name right now. The one that was killed.
That's right. Signs
actually,
was
one of the
there at the
Vanderbilts,
time.
I believe, was killed on the Titanic.
Kelly was there too.
And it's odd that you would have
Man,
two
we barely had
prominent
anybody.
families that
I remember that.
Kelly and
something like
Signs.
that
I don't
would
know how they
happen
stumbled
on,
across,
you
but
know,
you know,
Right.
they've been long
Kelly,
on
Signs.
supposedly
Well, I
indestructible,
believe
you know,
Signs
type
brought
of,
Kelly on.
you know, ships. Well, the Lusitania wasn't
When did Variant
indestructible.
come in?
We'll go into that. I don't want to get off
like
topic yet.
that would be
Some
November
of the other
20.
names that you, of course, might know,
Right.
like
November
I can-
20,
Rockefeller.
December
I
20.
can close that out,
Right.
but that's. I just wanted to show you guys. I just want to show you guys a little bit of that. I got to stop myself talking in the back, but yeah, I just wanted to show you guys a little bit of that. I start going into that's why when I say be careful with some of the WEF stuff, because a lot of people think, oh well, they're all part of the WEF, so they're all on the same page. Well, they killed off one of the Astors and they killed off one of the Vanderbilts because they weren't on the same page. And so there is the 13, and then there's the 300 up under. And so anytime one of the 13s kind of gets out of line, they can always swap one of them for somebody else and move them up, you know, on the ladder. So they're not always on the same plan. Just for example, the Bolsheviks. The Bolsheviks were a part of the 13 at one point. Or I'm not the Bolsheviks, I mean the Romanovs. Romanovs were part of the 13 at one point. Romanovs, they weren't really cool with some of the shit they were doing, and they got taken out. So don't always think that they're always on the same page. But yes, we do miss the crazy artwork. We miss seeing E. Hopefully y'all just keep pressuring his ass to make him come back on camera one of these days. But what is that? We have a beautiful city up north where they filmed Goonies called Astoria. I mean, I know most of you in New York have heard of the Waldorf Astoria. You guys have heard of a little park called Central Park, right? You do realize they own Central Park. And a lot of real estate across that whole entire area. So, yes, Kelly says, yes, E, we miss your face. Chris says, we used to go to Astoria Pool in Queens. That's what I'm saying. The name is all over the place. I mean, it's the same thing with when you start going like, I remember in the video, which I'm going to drop later, I said, wait a minute. I said, yeah, both Reynolds come up in my research, and I'm not sure if they're related or not, but they both come up in my research. Well, come to find out that the one who started Reynolds Metal Company, which turned into Reynolds Wrap, and they also did like aluminum for various other things, bike frames and all kind of other stuff. And then they started doing compressed aluminum, which is very, very expensive, which a lot is used for so many different other things. A lot of people just think Reynolds Wrap. It's not just Reynolds Wrap. It's a lot of other stuff. That is the nephew of PJ Reynolds, who was who had Reynolds Tobacco, which Reynolds Tobacco goes into your Marlboro, your Pall Mall, your Camel. I mean, it just goes down the list of like Doral. I mean, so many different tobacco products, which are all up under this one roof. So, I mean, the number one supplier of tobacco and the number one supplier of metals is all one family. So, just wanted to put that out there. Oh, didn't really care about the State of the Union, but what's the news about DeSantis? Yeah, we're not going to really go into the State of the Union. We don't really need to, but Chris, can you drop them a little bit of info on DeSantis real quick?
You know, there's nothing really new. You know, this is in relation to that "Don't Say Gay" bill that was, you know, that the Democrats really have called it. The opposition to DeSantis have labeled the bill. It's just something else that they're using to throw at DeSantis, and they're only going after him for culture war stuff, which I think is interesting because if he's a Republican, he's supposed to have like a completely different financial philosophy than you, Democrat, right? But economic policy wise, he's the same shit. So they can't go after him for that. So they just keep finding
That's
culture
right,
war.
son. They did.
Mm-hmm.
The
And
Titanic story. The space.
Yeah.
Titanic.
So last time was, oh, he wants to kill people with the Rona, right? Now we moved on from that. It didn't work here. So now we're on this, oh, he doesn't like gay people. If you just go through the bill, read it. You don't have to agree with anything, but it's clearly not saying, it clearly doesn't say you can't say gay. If you want to talk to young children about sexual matters, orientation, things of that nature, the parents need to know. I don't think that's unreasonable. If you're dealing with the 7-year-old, I just read his message. 7-year-old, 8-year-old, 9-year-old, 10-year-old, there's no need to have those discussions with those ages and not inform the parents. That's it. I saw their comment. Try to not speak ill future. But I'm telling you, they are setting him up to be the next president of the United States. If not in 24, in 28. But if he was smart, he would just run now. The Democrats are, just politically speaking, it's all a show. But just to predict the season, if the writers were to write him in as a candidate, he would win easily, I think. Especially against whomever the Democrats would. Who are they going to give you? Kamala, Biden again? Who else?
Well, I was wondering, Chris, is that part of the bill? I'm wondering if this is tied to the bill or not. I read something about it, about the, what is it? Social service will be called on parents if they try to give, what is it? Chemical, what is it? The pills for hormones.
Correct. Yeah.
That's all part.
So,
okay.
As far as that goes, yeah, they want social services involved, and see, for me, that's whenever you're going a little overboard. But at the same time, like, there's a lot of abuse that goes on, man. So it's hard to, it's really hard to say. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's just really hard to say. I can't really, I don't want to get nobody in trouble.
Chris,
you just got to.
I just thought about something. I'm a little off topic, sorry.
No, you straight.
But I just thought about something. When I remember I was talking about that old episode that we were in. If you guys go back and listen to it, now keep in mind, this was in November, or no, maybe like October. No, I know it was well before November when Chris was talking about this. Chris literally brought up talking about a major situation having to do with Trump getting elected or not getting elected, and actual bodies in the streets and chaos. So if you listen to it, it really sounds a lot like Chris was predicting January 6th in like September of the what was that, the primaries?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That would have been still the primaries before it even got to, like, almost as soon as Biden became the nominee. So what would that have been like? What, May, June-ish? No, wait a minute, June. So probably about August, September was when you were making this prediction. And you predicted January, loosely predicted January 6th. So I want people to know, go back and check some of our old shit, what we've been saying.
But you can see they always tell us what they want to do. They just have to, get us. They tell us what they want to do, and they inevitably will provide the event to make the solution have to come into play. I've seen it a couple times in a couple different events. I mean, look where we at now.
So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there, and then going ahead and get ready to wrap this up so my man can get down there and catch the fight. But
yeah, I mean, it's it's funny. The dude that Pasta want to win, I want to see him get punched in his face. I'm not the biggest UFC guy, but that Colby cat, I'm not really a fan.
It's by default. So
no, yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he's a super fan of him, But I was just saying for tonight, who he got stuck with. Yeah, Kobe, and it has nothing to do with his politics either. I don't care that he likes Trump. Like I said, I got family members who like Trump, so that has nothing to do with it. I just don't like dude. You know.
All right. Well, any closing remarks, fellas, would like to say?
L, if you're still watching, if you're out there, what's good? Just want to say hello. You know, we still talk. L's gonna be around, guys. Like, there's no hard feelings there.
Right.
You know, I just wanted, because, you know, I didn't say anything earlier when that came up, so I just didn't want the whole show to pass without me at least even saying something, you know, on the mic. So that was good. As usual, to the chat, thank you. Variant, I agree. DeSantis is definitely a future president. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, he'll inevitably be president, as long as they don't bring back Obama. You know what I'm saying? Or some version thereof of him that's credible to our people. But that's a story for another day. As usual, I guess just pay attention. Don't get too emotionally wrapped up in the things you see on the television, or don't get too wrapped up in the things that they call news, because a lot of this shit is like fake as fuck. Or they're just trying to get you they're just trying to get you worked up for no goddamn reason, so you can spend your freaking energy thinking about the things they want you to worry about. We're not going to do that. So just when you see these events, just pause for a second, let the dust settle a little bit, and then make your determination as to how you should feel at that point.
Any thoughts, E, you like to close with?
This is true, Glory.
You know, I just wanted to say that I appreciate the work that Elle did. She could do research like nobody else. Best at what she does. I've always been in awe of it. And you know, things change. And hopefully, you know, we can all move on to bigger and better things. So all the best for her. Appreciate everybody in the chat. That meant a lot. Looking at our stuff, blast from the past. I didn't realize how long I've been doing it. So just appreciate all you, and I appreciate everybody who knew us back when we had like 5 people, and they ran the conversation for like 3 hours into the wee hours of the morning, right? So I appreciate that. Respect it, appreciate it, love it. Thanks for being
Besides, it's funny. Well, anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in. You know, I'm going to get out of here. We will make Warren wear pants. Yes, that we will.
And like I tell everybody, anybody who has any hard feelings about the whole, you know, L situation, direct all your anger and frustration at me. Definitely not on these two guys. I mean, Chris found out about things maybe about an hour before the show started.
Like 5 or 10 minutes before the show started.
And this all happened only a couple of hours ago. So this was a decision I made. So I kind of wanted to, you know, kind of keep me, you know, moving forward with the show and what was planned, and talk about the issues, what I felt, you know, is important to talk about. And then personal stuff, you know, personal feelings and emotions and whatever, we try to put that aside for the time being of the show. But you know, I don't want to go into, you know, all of it in detail. If Elle decides to go into it in detail, that's, you know, that's up to her. I have no control over what she does. So, but I do wish her the best. And I hope there's no hard feelings overall. But that said, this is the Political Matrix. So thank you for everybody coming to join us. Everybody was in the chat. And thank you for everybody who still sticks with us and rides with us. That said, you guys have a great night, and be safe out there.
Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, guys.